And thank you for coming to our Jewish Family Service Food for Thought program. My name is Sunny, and I'm the Community Impact Coordinator here at the Savannah Jewish Federation. Today, we'll play Passover trivia together. Please note that I'm not a Passover expert, and the information you'll be seeing today is just from different resources that I found this information from. So, let's see. I'm gonna make this a view. So in order to play, first, if whoever wants to play, I know it's only 4 of us, so I wrote everybody's names down, but you do not have to play in the chat. You can just listen or even speak up. So we're going to have questions, and all the questions are going to have letters. So you can just speak up the letter that you think is the right answer, or you can write it in the chat, preferably write in the chat. So let's do a practice. Which of the following is another name for Passover? Pesach, Sukkot, or Day of Atonement? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so great. I see some answers. So the answer is
Pesach.
Pesach. In Hebrew, Passover is called Pesach, and this is the spelling of it. Okay, so are you ready? We're going to begin now. The observance of Passover lasts for how many days? 7 or 8 days, 2 or 3 days, 5 or 6 days? Okay, so 1 point for Toby. Oh, and I see Arlene is joining us. Welcome, Arlene. Great. Seven or 8 days. A, correct. In Israel and in the Reform movement, Passover is celebrated for 7 days. The more traditional Jews celebrate for 8 days. Which biblical figure is invited to the Passover Seder? Moses, Jacob, Elijah. See, Toby, you're very fast. Let's see if anybody has an answer. So mostly everybody's saying C. Elijah. An empty chair is often left at the Passover Seder table for Prophet Elijah. This empty seat is traditionally at the head of the table. Also, we put a cup of wine, which is untouched, at the table. We believe that someday Elijah will take his seat on the empty chair and announce the arrival of King Messiah. Okay, so this is still easy questions. We'll be having hard ones soon. Okay.
Working us up, right?
Who is the most important figure in Passover? Abraham, Ezekiel, or Moses? C. Carol said C. Let's see. C. Everybody's saying C. Okay. Moses. In the Passover story, Moses is regarded as the most important figure, the one responsible for landing the enslaved Jews in Egypt to freedom in Canaan, also known as Promised Land. So, Carol. How many times do we wash our hands according to tradition during the Seder evening?
4.
I don't know.
4 or 2.
Flossie, you're saying 4?
I'm saying 4, but it might be 2.
Let's see. 2. Yes. So, Carol, I'm giving you an answer, a question. Okay. So, ceremonial hand washing is performed twice. Once after the Kiddush and blessing over the wine, and once right before saying the blessing over the matzah.
May I make an addendum to that?
Please.
When we, the significance is that once we have a ritual washing, and once it's also for cleanliness. So you actually do, or some people actually do talk about making the distinction between two different types of washing that you can do at a Seder and the purpose.
Wow. In which city was the world's largest matzo ball created in 2010?
I have no idea, but people in Arizona are crazy. So
Okay, let's see the answer. Yes, A.
Oh,
In 2010, Jewish Food Festival held in Tucson, Arizona, history was made when the largest matzo ball in the world was created and weighed about 488 pounds. And this is what it
Wow.
looked like.
wow. Just for
But it
your
tasted
information, it's
terrible,
pronounced
though.
Tucson.
yeah,
Yeah.
people there be crazy.
Okay, let's move to the next one.
What did they do with it afterwards? I'm curious.
I'm curious too.
I would assume that they ate it, but I don't know how could it get cooked in the middle without getting really dry on the outside.
Yeah.
Great picture.
Let's see. The word Seder means meal, order, or exodus.
Order.
Order. Mhm. So I think Flossie said it first, so I'm going to give Flossie a point. Order.
When I get the big matzo ball, right?
You sure?
Have it mailed to me.
Okay. The splitting of the sea was on day 1, 7, or 8.
1? Had to be on 1.
Actually, it was on day 7.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. What's the explanation?
That it just happened on day number 7.
Yeah. Okay.
Honey wasn't there. She doesn't remember.
I. Oh, let's see.
First-hand account.
Which city hosts the world's largest Passover Seder every year? Jerusalem, New York City, or Kathmandu, which is, I think, in Nepal?
Arizona.
Okay, so Arlene is saying
No,
number
Alan
D.
is saying.
Alan is-
saying.
Okay, so Toby said B. Anybody else wants to guess?
I'd say A.
Okay.
And I'll say C just to have. some-
Okay, so you'll be very surprised. Actually, it's C, not D here. But this little city, it's the capital city of Nepal, is famed for playing host to the largest Passover Seder in the world every year. Thousands of people from all over the world often take trips there to be part of this event. Yeah.
And do we have any reason that everybody's
Yeah,
going
and-
there?
And do you happen to know if they have a Jewish community in Kathmandu?
I can assume that a lot of people who are traveling in that part of the world, a lot of Israelis do, that I know, probably go there for Passover. And I can assume also there is kosher for Passover food in that city or around there, which attracts a lot of travelers to maybe go there for the holiday.
Do you happen to know if it's sponsored by Chabad?
It's a good question, but I could be. Yeah.
They sponsor everything everywhere else.
Yeah, they really do. Did you see what they put out this year for people? It was
All right.
It was
I have the answer. I have the answer.
It was good.
In 1986, the Israeli embassy in Kathmandu organized a Passover celebration as a service to the 7,000 Israelis who visit Nepal annually. It was taken over in 1999 by Chabad, and prior to 1986, there was no organized practice of Judaism in Nepal, and there is no native Jewish community. The Chabad Center has achieved some degree of notability, primarily for the Passover celebration, reputed to be the largest in the world with 1,500 participants.
Wow.
Yeah, and the couple who run the center were models for a television series in Israel. And let's see. The organization maintains a local staff of 50 Nepalese.
Wow.
There you go.
Here's your answer, Carol.
Thanks to Siri.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Honey, so when we say next year in Yerushalayim, in the future, we're going to say next year in Kathmandu. Huh?
Most definitely. That's where I'm going, Flossie. You want to join me?
Yes, I would. We'll have to check out the menu first, okay?
So, what does the final day of Passover celebrate? The arrival of Israelites to the Red Sea, the arrival of the Messiah, the Jewish New Year.
I don't want to use real lights to the Red Sea.
Okay, let's see the answer. Yep, A, Toby. The arrival of the Israelites to the Red Sea. The last day of the Passover celebrates the arrival to the Red Sea. It's noteworthy to mention that upon getting to the Red Sea, Moses miraculously parted it for the Israelites to get across. During the last day of Passover, women and girls customarily light candles for this event.
Does this have anything to do with Miriam?
Who knows? Maybe Siri knows. Let's see. In the olden days, Jews celebrated Passover by sending an animal to the temple to be sacrificed. What type of animal was it?
Lamb.
C.
Lassie said lamb. C, Arlene.
Actually, I had a very interesting conversation with, well, why don't you show the answer first?
Well, the answer is, you're right, lamb. In the past, Jews celebrated Passover by sacrificing a Paschal lamb, roasting its flesh and proceeding to eat it.
All right, so today I was bringing some additional food to a friend of mine who was part of a Black Jewish community in New York. And I made him a brisket, but he was really sad because he wanted lamb. And I had given him, I had the lamb shanks. I had 2 lamb shanks that I gave him so that he could eat them. But he just, in his community, they actually did the ritual, I think. I didn't want to get that far into detail, but I believe that the rabbi actually sacrificed a lamb and then gave it to the congregants. And he really, I think, missed that type of participation. And the way it was phrased was, why don't you Jews in the South eat lamb? And I said, well, kosher beef is expensive enough. Kosher lamb here, I think.
Exactly.
Even the non-kosher lamb they had, I was at Publix today, just here, out here at the landings, and they had one already in a bag that you could roast in a bag, boneless. But I mean, the cheapest one was $30, and then it went up to 40 and more. I said, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a vegetarian, so for me to make him a brisket was enough. I don't know I want to start with anything else. And I roast the lamb shanks because you have to roast the lamb shanks.
I was going to say, that's where now today we do the lamb shank.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it just made him so sad. And I thought, gosh, I'm not going to do this.
Right. There's a limit,
So
Carol.
if someone wants to have the experience of shechting a lamb and roasting it, I will give you his address.
Okay, so let's see. The third cup of wine is consumed after midnight, benching, or eating the afikomen.
eating the afikomen.
Arlene says B. Carol C.
She had some Brussels sprouts, but it was, well,
Okay, let's see. It is B. After benching. Okay, let's go to the next one. This sacrifice was eaten in groups arranged by birth order, family, or religious observance. I assume they're talking about the lamb.
The, sac-
what's the question?
the sacrifice of the lamb.
I'll say religious observance.
Okay.
Well, go for B.
It is family. It is, I
Oh.
guess it was B, not D. So each family unit had to register to eat the
Yes.
lamb in the temple. Passover, like most Jewish holidays, is thus celebrated with an emphasis on family even today.
Yes.
So that was B. Let's see. Okay, so
That was very interesting because I don't ever, I mean, all these other questions, you know, I know, but I have
Mhm.
never heard this before. Has anyone else heard that as an explanation for why?
Yes.
Family oriented?
Yes. When I was studying with Nathan Garfunkel, I remember that.
wow.
Oh. I'm gonna have to go. I thought I could stay longer, but I can't. So it was good to
No
see you.
worries, Toby. Thanks for
This
joining
was
us.
fun. This was fun.
Bye.
Chag Sameach
Thank you to you too.
and a good
So-
Shabbat upcoming.
Let's
Yes.
see who knows this one. What is Ma'ot Chitin? Assigning the poor during Purim, money gift to the poor to purchase wheat for making matzah, a special kind of charoset made from pears. So Carol says B,
B.
A.
A, okay.
I'd say B.
Arlene said A.
Arlene, let's see. It is B. So Ma'ot Chitim refers to the centuries-old custom of gathering wheat to provide the poor with matzah and other items for the observance of Pesach. And actually, I just learned this not long ago. There is even a nonprofit, I'm not sure where it's based, but that is called Ma'ot Chitim as well. And they fundraise and gather money all year so that in Passover, they will be able to help the poor as a mitzvah. So
Where did you get your questions? You have very interesting questions.
from different sources, from a temple or from the Jewish Federation's national website,
Very,
JTC's, yeah,
thank you. Very different.
yeah. So some Sephardi Jews mimic the lashings received by Jewish slaves by sweating their Seder table mats with which edible plant? Celery, carrots, or
Scallions.
yeah.
A. Celery.
Scallions.
Who is saying A?
Arlene.
Arlene.
Floss is saying scallions.
And Carol, I see you also said C. Let's see. It is actually C. So
Wow.
Dayenu is sang throughout the diaspora during the Seder, but Sephardi Jews from Iran and Afghanistan have a particularly lively custom in which they weep each other with oversized scallions.
Again.
Before the song begins, each Seder participant stands, takes this thing, and starts whacking the other members of the feast. In some families, one scallion is passed around the table while each person takes a turn weeping. There is some debate about where the custom originates from.
I've heard of that, but that's about it. I've only heard about it.
I heard about it, but I've never seen anybody do
No.
it. Yeah.
Before you go on, how do I access the ABC without saying it out loud?
Oh, you can in the chat, if you just look, are you on your phone?
Yes.
So you should have, if you click on your screen, you should have an option that says chat.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Okay, let's see. Ashkenazi Jewish refrain from eating rice and beans, matzah and milk, or matzah brie.
Rice and beans.
Okay.
Now I lost. Okay. Rice.
Arlene just shouted out, we're not going to cheat.
No, I know what it is. I mean, don't we all?
Carol, did you write something? I couldn't see.
Yeah, I've been writing the answers.
Oh yeah, I've been looking at them. I just didn't, I think I missed this one.
What was interesting is, so this is the first company I've had in over a year. And it was my baby sister, her husband, her whole family, including a baby, 2 dogs. And there was the vegetarian, there was the vegan, there was the gluten-free, there was the meat eater, there was the baby who only eats blueberries, as far as I can tell, bananas and avocados, and they're Sephardic.
Mm.
So what we did was I created my cabinets, and then I left a separate cabinet for items that were kosher for Passover for Sephardim, and including a cornmeal that I got with a hechsher on it for Passover, which I thought was, yeah, because Sephardic Jews, they eat that.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, no, don't worry about it. We don't really keep the holiday.
After all your hard work.
Expensive mistake.
Let's see. So, owning chametz on Passover is biblically prohibited, rabbinically prohibited, or permissible. Okay, I see Carol's. Let's see, what is the answer? Yep, Carol, you're right. It is biblically prohibited. Which of the following is an actual Israeli law during the holiday of Passover? Matzah law, where restaurants have to serve matzah with every dish. Maror law, where bitter herbs must be eaten by members of Knesset. Or the chametz law, where public places are banned from displaying chametz. Well,
I think I'm going to change my answer.
Carol, what do you want to change it to?
I'm going to change it to A.
Okay.
Because there are so many non-Jewish public places that you can't say that they can't display their chametz, but it should be incumbent upon every restaurant to offer somebody matzah.
Right. Okay, so you're saying A.
I'm going to say A too.
Yeah. Okay, well, the answer is C, the chametz law. Public places in Israel are not allowed to display, and this is what it looks like. I used to see it every year when I was young in the stores. Yeah.
Well, I originally wrote that, but how do you deal with the fact that not all businesses are Jewish or cater to Jewish Israelis?
It's true, but that's the law.
What about the Arabs?
Maybe where maybe in their villages they do, and I have some other fun facts that we'll be seeing here about chametz in Israel. So stay tuned. So, which soft drink? Oh yeah. Yes, Arlene?
Are they allowed to buy chametz? And it says a public place, but aren't there Arab markets that you can buy chametz?
Probably private, small ones. I don't think it's talked about as much, but
Okay.
I have never seen during Passover in any store in my life chametz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which soft drink brand makes a special batch of kosher drink during Passover?
Coca-Cola.
Yes, we know that.
Good. So, A, Coca-Cola. While Coke is generally a kosher product, the dietary laws tightened during the Passover holiday, making high fructose corn syrup a no-no for observant Jews. So in response, Coca-Cola pumps out a batch of limited edition Coke that uses real sugar, and they usually have a yellow cap. Yeah.
Yes.
Is that in the States also, Sunny, or just in Israel?
Have you ever seen a yellow cap?
I bought it.
Yes, but it's much harder to get this year. I used to be able to get Dr. Brown's kosher for Passover, yellow cap Coca-Cola products, but this year it seems like they put out the Purim Homan Kasha for Pesach. I think they got it all mixed up this year.
Wow.
So we bought our soda when we were
Kroger.
traveling.
Oh, tell them.
Yeah,
Wow.
Coca-Cola does it.
We got the Coke at Kroger and had no problem.
Yeah,
was
but that
with
was the only thing, and only in big bottles.
Yes, you're right. But
Oh,
we don't
wow.
drink it anyway. I just bought it as gifts.
So this one is an interesting one. I wonder if you would know this. Who is Hussein Jabbar? An Arab Israeli citizen that eats all of Israel's chametz, an Arab Israeli citizen that buys all of Israel's country chametz, an Arab Israeli citizen that owns a kosher for Passover food factory.
I would say B.
So it is B. So for the past 20 odd years, Hussein Jabbar, an Arab Israeli, has been buying all of the chametz of Israel's finance minister and chief rabbis for a big sum.
Is that a donation or what?
No, they do it through a contract, and I think they do it in the court. It's a big, big purchase that he makes, and it's talked about every year in Israel. There are so many articles about him. It's very interesting story, and I don't know the full thing. Yeah.
But it goes into the Israeli economy.
Probably
That money?
if he's buying it off the Israel's finance
Yeah.
minister and chief rabbis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Careful.
Who was the first U.S. president to host a Passover Seder at the White House? Donald Trump, Barack Obama, John Kennedy.
Barack Obama.
Okay.
John Kennedy.
So it is Barack Obama.
Oh.
In 2009, U.S. President Barack Obama hosted the White House Passover Seder, which went down history as the first Seder to be hosted in the White House and attended by sitting U.S. President. Obama held a Seder every Passover throughout the duration of his presidency.
I actually have an interesting fact about that. So last Thursday, and I don't know if it's on YouTube now, but last Thursday, Vice President's husband, Emhoff, hosted a White House Passover celebration. It was a 1 hour celebration, and they had different members of the White House staff talking about different portions of the Seder. It was extremely interesting. And one of the people who were speaking was a staffer who had been on the campaign trail with Barack Obama when he was a senator. The origin of this was the year before Barack Obama was president. He allowed this man who was traveling with him during Passover to host a Seder, and he ordered all the stuff that he needed for the Seder, and he conducted it while they were in the hotel. Wow. And at the end, what he said last Thursday, at the end, when you say next year in Jerusalem, then Senator Barack Obama said next year in the White House. And so in 2009, President Obama kept his promise.
Wow.
And then he started conducting the Seders in the White House. And it was not done Trump years, but it was done during the Obama years. And,
wow, that is a great fact, Carol.
And like I said, this year, President and Mrs. Biden First Lady Biden, it was done in different segments. They came on in the end and wished everybody a good Yontif in not so many terms. And then, and Vice President Harris joined her husband again to wish people a happy holiday, which I thought was very sweet.
Carol, did they do it virtually?
It was virtually done. There was a Zoom, and I got closed out of the Zoom. Although I had signed up for it. There were over 9,000 people on when I clicked in. So I watched it on Facebook. But I was wondering if maybe on YouTube now it's been processed and you can look up White House 2020
right.
or something and see. It was cute. There were some interesting stories.
Wow. Interesting. Okay, well, let's go to the next question. When was the first American edition of the Haggadah published? 1795, 1837, or 1850?
1795.
Nah.
Okay,
What do you think?
18.
let's see. It's actually B, 1837. Long ago. Thank you. Well, that's all my questions for you. Let's stop sharing the screen. So let me see here who is the winner. And it is Carol that's leading by 5 more points than Flossie and Toby and Arlene too.
Well,
so
that's because Toby left early and I'm just a suck up.
Let me see. So let's stop live streaming. Thank you, everybody.